Welcome to another Verve Capture developer training video. This video is the first video in the Verve Data Validation series. In the previous video series, we built a keyframe image Verve application for a contest entry form. That KFI application will be used in this video. In this video, we will add a no-code data validation to a field and test our validations in Verve Entry. Verve Capture's no-code validation is accomplished via Verve Stories. Verve Stories are used throughout the product to extract, validate, and transform data during many events. Some of the events are at field end, at field beginning, and after OCR has read data from an image. For this video, we are going to focus on validation stories that Entry will run at the end of a field. These validation stories are built on each field at the Field Properties window in the Post Validations tab. To view the field properties, double-click on the company name field, then click on the Post Validations tab. Each event can have more than one story arranged horizontally along the Properties window. Each Verve story is comprised of one or more functions. Please note that when you have more than one story, the functions are performed from top to bottom and then left to right. You can see on the phone number field that the field generator placed the phone number validation on the field. Please note that when you right-click on a validation, contextual help will display that will allow you to determine the function and configuration of that validation. For example, the phone number validation explains to you the individual data validation checks that it performs and also explains what the Don't Format slider will do. Now we will build a no-code validation story for the company name field that contains two validations. To create the first validation, click on the plus sign to create a validation story. To add a validation to the validation story, click on the menu bar below and pick a validation. For this example, we will use the minimum length validation located in the General section within the Validations menu. To configure this validation, simply enter 4 into the box. Now, when you open Entry and create a keyframe paper batch, you will notice when you're on the company name field that a new message shows up in the Validation Messages window. To test this validation, type in any 3 characters and hit Enter. Notice that the validation message turns red, and also the field has a red highlight. This tells you that a mandatory validation has failed. Go ahead and cancel out of this batch, and we will add in the second validation. Back in design, we're going to add in a second validation exactly like the first one. This time we will configure the validation with a minimum length of 6, and we will turn on the Double Key Bypass slider. After saving the application again and going back into Entry and starting a brand new keyframe paper batch, you will notice that a few things have changed. The Validation Messages window will now contain 2 messages detailing the data entry requirements for the field. Then, when you repeat the previous test with 3 characters, the results will be the same. However, when you type in 5 characters, the second validation message and the field will be highlighted in orange. The orange highlight is a visual indicator to the data entry operator that the validation failed, but it can be ignored by typing the data exactly the same a second time. Notice that if the operator types in different data the second time, Entry will not let them pass the field until either the data in the field passes validation or is keyed the same way 2 times. This double key bypass option that exists for every validation enables a true no-code validation solution, because as we all know, a mandatory requirement for data entry sometimes is not mandatory. Without this feature, the only other option is to write the data validation in .NET or Java. The double key bypass feature is exclusive to Verve Capture and is one of the reasons why Verve Capture will revolutionize the data capture market. Now that you know how to build a Verve validation story, be sure to watch our other videos in the data validation series, where we will cover advanced concepts such as multi-field validations, if logic, web service calls, and database lookups. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to our channel and ring that bell.